These are the rankings that we've all been waiting on. Now, it doesn't come on till 7, but I wanted to talk about it and get everybody's input on who they think is going to go where, just different stuff like that. We'll compare resumes. We can do a lot of different things before it actually comes on. And there's more teams that are in the playoff conversation than you realize. I looked at scheduling, records, strength of schedule, all that stuff. Yeah, there's more teams still in the playoff hunt right now than we all realize. I would say 14 teams that are legitimately... Sorry. Never have it quite right. There we go. There's about 14 teams that are legitimately still in the playoff hunt. So, yeah, I'll be very interested to see who lands where. So, I want to hang out with you guys for a little while until it comes on. And then we'll watch it together. I have it on what's it called? Whenever you hit the button and it goes to previous, I guess, last channel, previous, whatever. So, right now I'm actually watching Cops. I love that show. Cops is a great show. So, if Cops is on and I have to wait for college football, I'm watching freaking Cops. For sure. Dominic, was that Bullock? Dominic Bullock, the Hedgehog. What's going on, bud? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we're going to see the first playoff rankings. It's going to start at 7, but we're going to hang out before then. We'll talk about what you guys think about it. Compare resumes, who's underrated, who's overrated, who's going to get screwed, who's going to get inflated, and, you know, stuff like that. Let me move this light out of the way because even though the rankings don't come on till 7, I love freaking Cops. I mean, I've watched Cops, like, since I was, I don't know, 12. Maybe younger. Probably younger than that. Probably more like 10. However long it's been around, that's how long I've been watching Cops, so I love that show. So I'm gonna be having the channel on Cops until the playoffs do come on. And yes, I got my Pepsi ready to roll. You already know. You already know. Tombstone pizza, baby. That's what I'm talking about. If y'all have been around long enough, you already know. Pizza and Tombstone. That's the way I roll whenever I'm doing these live shows. That's what I'm talking about. No, Oklahoma State actually jumped. Oh, you're talking about Ohio State. Yeah, they got, who did they get jumped by? Was it Michigan State? I think it was Michigan State. I thought Michigan State deserved to be above Ohio State. I'm not saying Ohio State did anything to drop. I just think that win over Michigan was enough for the Spartans to jump Ohio State. I'm okay with that. All that's going to get figured out. I'm not going to say these rankings don't matter at all tonight because they do. Starting points, as far as where you're starting in the first rankings, matter because there's less work for you to do later on. But let's face it, it's all going to work itself out. Michigan State will play Ohio State head-to-head, so it's gonna you know, even out. It's gonna balance out. Yeah, y'all don't forget to hit that like button. It's a great way to support the channel. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. It helps hit the YouTube algorithm, gets it suggested more, gets more people in the conversation, more fan bases, more trash talk, more everything. That one simple click on the like button does all of that. All of that. I know it's crazy, and YouTube doesn't really explain that enough. How important that like button is, and it's not. You know, you're awesome, Golden Blue dude. It's not. I know it looks like it because it's the like button. It's not for that. It's for the algorithm. So, yeah, I appreciate all the likes that I get because it helps the show, helps grow the show too. And we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We have slowed down a little bit as far as gaining subscribers. We're still gaining, But there for a while, we were chunking like crazy. So the road to 5,000 continues. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna push this mic out because I'm not gonna turn into one of those YouTube channels where you hear me chew, and I am gonna eat pizza. So I'm gonna slide the mic out. Sorry for the pop. Probably hear some pops. But I am gonna eat pizza. So I'm starving. And as usual, DiGiorno, baby, DiGiorno. If I have my choice, of course I'm going to go delivery, but I'm not going to order delivery all the time. Favorite delivery? Papa John's, for sure. True fact, real quick. I used to work for Papa John's. I actually worked for Papa John's for about 3 years, and the money was okay. People do tip. The problem is, pizza delivery guys get robbed more than you think. More than you think. This particular Papa John's sent their drivers in places they should not be going. Known drug activity, known prostitution, high crime rate, all that stuff. They didn't care. You're going, they want their pizza. Well, I got robbed twice, but the second time I actually avoided it, so I really didn't get robbed, but I'm still calling it at least an attempted robbery. First robbery. It was night, of course. Had a delivery, and they had the lights on, because that's one thing you're supposed to do. Headlights on. So I get out of the car, didn't see a car in the parking lot, but that happens all the time. Sometimes, you know, somebody's home by themselves, whatever. That's routine. The lights are on. That's a good sign. Wasn't suspicious. Nothing like that. So I get out of the car, and immediately, out of nowhere, I don't know where these guys came from, but immediately there was 3 guys that came up on me. One guy came from this, and 2 guys came behind me. And this was as I opened the passenger door, and I was getting the pizza out. So I didn't even see them coming. They were just up on me when I turned around. So, you know, you already know what this is. I was like, yeah, here's my wallet. Like, I pointed to them, and they actually teach you this just in case. They tell you, point to where you want them to go to, but make it seem like it's their choice. So I pointed to my wallet. Don't keep any cash in my wallet. And, you know, you can get a new driver's license. You can cancel your credit cards, all that stuff. So I said, wallet here, phone here. And that's what they took, my wallet and my phone, and, of course, the pizza. What they didn't know, and this was my fault, what they didn't know is I had about $250 worth of cash and tips because, you know, we take, I say we, I don't work for Papa John's anymore. They take, you know, cash orders. You go pay, give them change, all that stuff. But you're supposed to drop most of that and only keep the bare minimum. Well, it had been so busy that night that I didn't have a chance to drop that cash. So I had about $250, $300 worth of cash in my left pocket. But I did what they trained me to do and said, hey, my wallet's here and my phone's here. They didn't check my front pockets or anything like that. So I, you know, thank goodness they didn't take the cash. That probably would have been taken out of my paycheck. So even in situations like that, you still got to be smart. And then the second time, I avoided a robbery. What happened? This was actually during the day. And what happened was, and they do this sometimes, it's hard to spot. So they ordered a pizza. I went to the house. There was actually a car in the driveway. Okay? So I pull up behind the car, and a lady comes out. I tell her the amount, all that stuff. Oh, let me go back in and get my wallet. You can come in. I'm like, no, we're not supposed to do that. She's like, well, it's in the back. It's in the back. And I need to go get it. I'm like, that's fine. I'll chill right here. Okay. So she goes in, and I see 3 guys come out of the front door. I'm like, nope. I already know what this is. I got in my car, put it back in there, put the pizza back in the little warmer bag you got out of there. And funny thing is, they didn't call and say, hey, we didn't get our pizza. Hey, we want a refund. Nothing like that. And it was a cash order. So with a cash order, you don't prepay. So, you know, I'm fairly convinced that that was a robbery because, you know, they didn't call back to Papa John's and say, hey, the delivery guy just took off on me, or hey, you know, we didn't get our pizza, or anything like that. So I'm convinced that I did avoid a robbery. And what people will do is they'll locate a house that they know is not occupied, and they'll act like they're living there, even if it's just for an hour or two, whatever, just enough time for them to rob somebody. So they'll hang up in there, order a pizza, get the pizza delivery guy all comfortable. Oh, I gotta get my money way out back. You can come chill, you know, on the couch or whatever. And that's where they'll rob you. So you gotta, even in stressful situations, you gotta be aware of your surroundings and know what's going on. So, yeah, got robbed once, avoided a robbery. I guess I started talking about that because I'm eating pizza and I'm watching Cops. So that was kind of a combo thing here. Really good pizza. What's everybody up to this evening, by the way? I'm going to open up the phones here in a little bit, but I'm going to wait on... I say phones, but I only have one. But I'm waiting on... Well, it's not fully charged yet. I'm going to wait on Joey, because we're going to do some polls, and we'll do some call-ins and stuff like that, but I need his help with all that stuff. So I will open up the phone line 1 because I don't have a soundboard yet, and I'll get y'all's opinion on what you think is going to happen this evening. I'll be right back. Hold on. So I have spondylitis pretty much my ribs, my back, my knees, everywhere. So I have to wear a heating compress sometimes, and it works amazing. So I had to take that off real quick because it's starting to get hot. And I was wondering why I was getting hot so much, and it's because I forgot about the daggum heating compress. Honestly, when I went back and wrote down these 14 teams that I think still have a shot at getting to the playoffs, I went back and looked at Cincinnati's schedule, who they beat, how much they beat them by, and then I looked at everybody else's schedule. Seriously, even if you're a Cincinnati hater, even if you're a Group of 5 hater, whatever, when you look at what Cincinnati's done and compare that to what everybody else has done, I would say Georgia and maybe Michigan State are the only 2 teams that I could put ahead of Cincinnati and be okay with it. And it would actually make sense. Putting Alabama ahead of Cincinnati wouldn't make any sense. Oklahoma wouldn't make any sense. Ohio State, at this point in time, wouldn't make any sense. Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan, Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest needs to be higher than number 10, but it wouldn't make any sense to put them above Cincinnati either. Oklahoma State, Auburn, Texas A&M, and Baylor, the 14 teams. None of those teams would make any sense being put above Cincinnati. Only Georgia and only Michigan State. And of course, we all know the biggest excuse is Cincinnati's a Group of 5 conference. I get that. I understand that. But if you look at the other teams that we're talking about, their schedule, yeah, they're in a Power 5 conference, but the actual teams that they've played so far, not all that great. Maybe one or two, tough games, something like that, which is about the same as Cincinnati. So it's not a huge gap like everybody's thinking. It's not. It really isn't. And Cincinnati did themselves a really big favor of scheduling road trips to Indiana and to Notre Dame. I know Indiana's turned out to be a dud, but Indiana did test. They tested Michigan State. Who else did they test? It was somebody else. Maybe it was just Michigan State. I know Ohio State blew them out, but they definitely tested Michigan State. And Notre Dame. Notre Dame's only loss, Cincinnati, and it was at Notre Dame. So, what's the highest Cincinnati is projected to be? I would say, second. Second's probably the highest they could be projected, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say, I would say 3 would be a safe guess. But, the playoff committee could be dicks and put them at 4 or put them out of the top 4. I put nothing past the playoff committee, so really nothing would surprise me. And whenever Joey gets here, we're actually going to do some polls, and I'm going to see what you guys think about it. So, what was I looking at here? Hold on. Oh, yeah, the scheduling. All right, so here's Cincinnati's schedule so far. Undefeated 8-0. We already know that, right? First win, Miami of Ohio, 49-14. Miami of Ohio, they're 4-4. Not a great team, average team. Murray State, cupcake game, 42-7. Murray State 3-5. The win at Indiana, 38-24. Indiana turns out to be not so good. Indiana's 2-6. Then the win at number 9, Notre Dame. That was the big one. Notre Dame, they beat them 24-13, and Notre Dame is 7-1. After that, a home win against Temple, 52-3. Temple's 3-5. Then a home win against UCF, 56-21. UCF's 5-3. And then a win at Navy, tricky Navy, not very good, but tricky, 27-20. Navy's 2-6. And then a win at Tulane, 31-12. Tulane's 1-7. That's what people are trying to dog Cincinnati about right now. Struggling against a tricky Navy and not burying Tulane like they should. Well, if we look at Oklahoma, Oklahoma played Tulane at the beginning of the season at home, and they only beat them 40-35. So, if you want to compare, let's compare. And I know a lot of people look at the Ole Miss blowout of Tulane. Different scenarios, different matchups. Now, let's look at Alabama. What kind of case do they have? They're 7-1. They have wins against number 14, Miami, Florida, 44-13. Well, Miami's turned out to be 4-4. Not all that great. A win against Cupcake Mercer, 48-14. Mercer's a good FBS or FCS team, though. They're 6-2. A win at number 11, Florida. But don't let that fool you. 31-29 was the final score, but Florida's now 4-4. So only a 2-point win over a 4-4 team. Makes you raise your eyebrow. A win over number 12, Ole Miss. Oh, I forgot about Southern Miss. 63-14. Southern Miss 1-7. A good win against number 12, Ole Miss. That's a good win. 42-21. Ole Miss 6-2. But they follow that up. They follow that up by losing at unranked Texas A&M, 41-38. Texas A&M 6-2. Texas A&M is now a top 15 team. I understand that, but if Alabama beats Texas A&M on the road, Texas A&M is not going to get ranked. The rest of the season, Texas A&M not going to get ranked because Texas A&M had already gotten losses to Arkansas and Mississippi State. Alabama would have gave them 3, and they would have lost any momentum, and they would have lost probably 1 or 2 more games. So that's a tricky game to judge because now we're like, Texas A&M a top 15 team, so that's not a terrible loss. Well, I guess you can look at it that way, but if Alabama would have done what they were supposed to do as an 18.5 point favorite, Texas A&M wouldn't have sniffed the top 25. That's the same Texas A&M that struggled against a bad Colorado on the road. That's the same Texas A&M that got beat by Arkansas, who's now 5-3 on a losing streak, 3-game losing streak by, I think, 10 or 11. That's the same Texas A&M team that got beat at home by Mississippi State. So, I'm not saying it's the worst loss I've seen, but it's not a good loss like people are saying. And I think Texas A&M will pick up a few more losses, at least one more. All right. So after that, Alabama goes on the road and beats Mississippi State 49-9, and then they get a very tricky, deceiving score against Tennessee, 52-24. That looks like a blowout, right? Looks like a blowout. Well, it was actually pretty close up until the fourth quarter. For whatever reason, Tennessee decides to allow Alabama to score like 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So, final score 52-24, but it was either tied or Alabama was up by 1 score going into the fourth quarter. So, they lose to a Texas A&M team who's 6-2, but if they beat Texas A&M's gone. They're out of the conversation, not going to sniff the top 25. They go on the road and beat an up-and-coming Mississippi State. They're getting better. Mississippi State's now 5-3. And then they come back home and blow out Tennessee, who's 4-4. But seriously, that was more of a Tennessee got worn out because of depth situation. Tennessee was in that game for a very long time. If you ever decide to start a YouTube channel and you have kids, I'm going to let you know something right now. They will be the loudest when you go live. That's just a tip. If you plan on starting a YouTube channel and you have kids and you're going to do live shows, they'll be their loudest when you decide to go live. Even if you tell them, that's when they'll be the loudest. Just let you know. Oh, there it is. Thought I lost the remote. So, what's everybody watching up until the playoff rankings? Come on, I'm watching Cops Reloaded. Cops Reloaded. What are y'all watching? I thought about watching this stuff before, like Pardon the Interruption, stuff like that. Sports Center, that's not bad, but I don't know. You can tell that ESPN has their agenda, so it's difficult for me to watch stuff like that. And I know the playoff thing it's going to be a little geared as far as the conversation goes. I'm not worried about ESPN's conversation. I just want to see the rankings that the playoff committee came up with. I don't care what ESPN says about it. Mm-hmm. ESPN has made everything political. Even the way they talk about college football, they have their own agenda. I will admit that the SEC is the best conference right now. They are. The Big 12 is, well, maybe it's 1A and 1B, because the Big 12 is right there with them. I mean, it's pretty close. But if the only station that you ever watched was ESPN, you wouldn't even know what the other conferences were. Pac-12, what's that? Oh, they play football on the West Coast? You know, you wouldn't know because ESPN's all about the SEC. So that's what gets on my nerves about is if they were just right down the middle, not opinionated, which is what they're supposed to be, leave that to the YouTubers. That's what the YouTubers are supposed to be, not you, ESPN, the YouTubers. And I'm less, trying to steer people down my agenda than they are. So it's just annoying. That last comment, man, it gets me. We all know that even if Alabama loses to Georgia, they're going to find a way to put Alabama in. That's why I'm hoping that Auburn does us a favor and beats Alabama in the Iron Bowl. And I think Auburn can do it. I really do. So, and if Auburn gets the SEC championship and Georgia beats them, that's 3 losses. So that would clean everything up nice and tidy. Auburn beats Bama, Georgia beats Auburn. And because we all know they want 2 SEC teams in there. And if you're a fan of an SEC team, I'm not bashing the SEC. I'm bashing ESPN. We all know that the SEC is arguably the best conference in the nation. We know that. I'm not bashing you guys. And at the end of the year, if 2 SEC teams deserve to be in the playoffs, I'm all for that. If they deserve it, they have the better resume, they've earned it, I'm fine with that. If Alabama wins out and beats Georgia and they put Alabama and Georgia in, as long as everybody else, slips up or whatever, that's fine. But giving the SEC every opportunity, they lost, but we'll try to figure out a scenario that we can put them in. That's what drives me nuts. So, please, if you're an SEC fan, don't think that I'm bashing you, because I'm not. I promise you, I am not. Quick reminder, a good way to help support this channel is click the Super Chat logo down on your lower right-hand part of the screen. It's the $sign. Click that. Every little bit helps. And right now, I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but every $5 spent on the Super Chat is an entry to win a full-size helmet of your choice. Not a mini helmet, a full-size helmet. Depth perception can fool you, so let me show you. Full-size helmet. Full-size helmet. So, there you go. Every $5 spent on the Super Chat is an entry to win a full-size helmet of your choice. You're not winning mine. Sorry. You're not winning mine. But whoever wins will get a full-size helmet of the team that they pull for. Let's, let me look at their list real quick. Hold on, guys. I know I got it in here somewhere. Yeah, I write for my shows all the time, so I lose some things. Dadgummit. Where did it go? I gotta be better organized. This is not working. I gotta be better organized. I feel like I'm getting closer. Am I getting closer? Am I not? Maybe not. I don't know. Dadgummit. Look through my notebook real quick. I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Hold on. Shoot. Oh, it's probably in that one. What am I thinking? Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's... Where did you go? Dadgummit. Crap. Well, may have lost it, which is not good. I have to go back and look. No, I know I got it somewhere. I just can't find it right now. Dang it. I should have had that out before I went live, but I have scatterbrain sometimes, guys. It's a real thing. Scatterbrain is a real thing. Promise you. Who? I gotta disagree with Wake Forest belonging nowhere near the top 10. Excuse me. Until they lose, they actually do. I mean, I think we're going off on their brand and not exactly the strongest schedule out there. But guys, Wake Forest is undefeated. And they've looked pretty good. I know people want to look at that that crazy game against Army, and it was crazy. But that's just like Kentucky. When they were undefeated, I had them in the top 10. As soon as they lost, I dropped them out. You got to reward whenever it's there. I don't think Wake Forest will finish in the top 10. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think they'll finish in the top 10, but right now, as of this moment, I think they deserve a top 10 ranking. Crap. I always got to make sure to look at front and back because a lot of times I write on the back as well. Not there. Dang it. I know I have it though, for sure. Yeah, what you're seeing is what I write for my shows. When you have ideas, I'm the type of, whenever I'm making this show, I have so many ideas that I have to write them down or I'll get nothing done because I have too much going on in my brain. So that's why I have so much notes. I'm going to go check another spot, but I'll be right back, guys, okay? If somebody comes in the chat and asks where I'm at, y'all tell them I'll be right back. I'm checking on something. Yes, I'm still doing my live show. Alright, I'm back. But I really got to get on this pizza because I start yapping and forget that I have pizza, and I'm not going to let it go to waste, so. What time is it? Got about 20 minutes, so I got to eat this. I call this segment Food and Football, even though football's not on, but dadgummit. ESPN just now showing Cindy Nasty schedule strength as only 100. 100. Terrible. See, the thing is, I don't take the FPI as gospel like most people do, and that's what ESPN bases their strength of schedule on for that. And have you noticed in the AP Top 25, with the SEC, it's a catch-22. A loss in the SEC isn't a bad loss. But a win in the SEC is really great. You can't lose in the SEC. Nothing is bad in the SEC. If you lose, that's okay. That's okay. That's not a bad loss. If you win, that's the best win of the season. Best win of the season. And that's why Texas A&M immediately popped back in the top 25 when they beat Alabama. Best win anybody could have ever had. Yes, they deserve to be ranked again. And they're up to 14 again? Nonsense. Earning a spot in the playoffs is done on the football field. And Cincinnati has done what they're supposed to do. Is it the strongest schedule? No, it's not. But they tried to beef it up by, adding road trips to Indiana and a road trip to Notre Dame. Indiana didn't pan out. That's not their fault. What if Indiana would have beaten Cincinnati and, maybe they would have gotten on a roll? Became a top 25 team. You never know. They did give Michigan State fits a couple weeks ago. Then they get their bye week. Then they go on the road to a top 10 Notre Dame. They did get Notre Dame at home. They had to go on the road. And even though they got a bye week in between, it was back-to-back road games. So, their strength of schedule was 100th, and ESPN says this. ESPN, see, you're proving my point. ESPN said that. I don't give a frick what ESPN says. I actually watch football. I do my own research. I look at who they've beaten, who they've lost, the actual records. Hold on. Yeah, still alive. Anyways, but that's why I don't like ESPN, because people just, ESPN said it. Look at what ESPN said. It must be true. I don't do that. No. I do my own research. fact checking, all that stuff. Because, like I said before, ESPN has their own agenda. Dadgummit, I started yapping again. I forgot about my pizza. I got 18 minutes. We're good. Cops is a good show to watch when you're waiting on another show, by the way. I highly suggest it. If you know what channel Reels is on, that's what channel this is on. REELZ. That's what channel Cops is on. And another argument that people like to put out, Cincinnati would get blown out. A group of 5 team would get blown out if they made the playoffs. Number one, that's hearsay. Why? A group of 5 teams never been in the playoffs. So how do you know that? That's hearsay. You have to actually put them in the playoffs and let them prove that. If that happens, then you have a case. But before that happens, you don't have a case. Number two, blowouts are already happening. I mean, at least one blowout happens in the playoffs every stinking year. Sometimes more than one. So, West Virginia played Iowa State last week in Morgantown. Joey, who's in the chat, suggested that I go back and listen to the Iowa State call on that. And I did. If you want to hear a bunch of whining, babyish, acting like toddlers, you need to check it out. Joey, hit the do the PayPal link. We do PayPal too. Yes. They said it was too loud, that they hit the third down gong way too much. Every freaking stadium does that. That's the whole point of home field advantage. You know, that's the whole point of it. So if you want a good laugh, y'all need to look that up. Look up the Iowa State radio broadcast of the West Virginia Iowa State game. Hilarious. Yeah, I need to remind them again. If you hit the Super Chat or the PayPal, every $5 that you send equals one entry to winning a full-size helmet. Wait, there we go. Full-size helmet of your team. It's not going to be just West Virginia. Whoever your team is, that's the helmet you'll win. So every $5 of either a Super Chat or to the PayPal gets you entered into that contest. And you get a $50 prize from tristatewoodsketch.com if you win. And this is the type of stuff he makes. That's me and my family. Me and my family. This one's my favorite. This is me and my sweetheart right there. That's a good, look at this. Friggin' log. That's a friggin' log. And of course, logos. Of course, mine's going to be West Virginia. So there you go. You can get whatever you want up to $50 if you win the contest. So a $5 super chat is 1 entry, $10 2 entries, 15 3, 24, and so on and so forth. Rhino and Luis Papis, I think that's how you pronounce his name. They sent $100 super chats, so they have 20 entries in there. So they really wanted to win the prize. I think they were gunning for the full-size helmet. That's what they really wanted. They really want that. Switch it over to Sports Center so I don't... No, I don't eat the crust. No. The only time I eat the crust is if it's Papa John's and you have the garlic dip. Since Joey's in the chat, we're going to do something else for the Super Chat and PayPal. Okay? So, if you want us to create... Let me say this right. If you want us to create a poll, a yes or no poll, all you have to do is send a Super Chat. $5 gets you a yes or no. Ask the question, yes or no, and we'll put it in the poll and see the results. Now, if you want a multiple choice, that's going to be $10 or more. So, question and then the different choices you want. Multiple choice. There you go. So, if you want us to do a multiple choice poll, $10 Super Chat gets that done. If you want just a yes or no, true or false, whatever, $5 gets that done. And on top of that, you get entered to win the full-size helmet and the $50 prize from Tri-State Wood Sketch. So, is there any other YouTube channel out there that's giving away prizes for Super Chat? No, I don't think so. A good prize. Call-in. Yes, this will be a call-in. It will be, but not quite yet. Raj. In the house. If y'all watch my rant of West Virginia losing to Texas Tech, that video, the person that video bombs me and says, "Go Dogs," that would be Raj. Ten more minutes. Yeah. No, you the man, Raj. What are you talking about, man? I think we settled on this logo. I drew up 2 mock logos. It was this one or this one. First, that's the first one. A, first. B, second. So far, the second one is winning. So, I know this is backwards. I don't know how to flip it yet. So, you have the G, the B, and the D. Same thing with this one, except the lines are just thickened up a bit. You see the G wrapping around, the B, and the D. There you go. So, we have a new logo in the works. I'm pretty excited about that. And actual, yeah, I do have a PayPal link. I thought Joey dropped it. I'm not sure. Let me make sure he didn't drop it earlier. Somebody put up the PayPal link. Whoever has it. So we have about 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left. I can't post the PayPal link because I have to use my phone for my live shows. But when I get internet, I'll be able to post it up whenever. So I need my favorite what do you call it? Dadgummit. Brain just went blank. Anyways. Go to Blue Dude. What's your favorite team in South Carolina? Huh. It's a pretty good question, actually. Clemson. Well, my wife says Clemson, so I'd probably better say that. I really don't have a favorite team, but I'll go with Clemson. I appreciate that, Raj. I mean, I have a laptop. I'm just waiting on the internet. We tried satellite internet. Wasn't worth a crap. Not even a little bit. So we got rid of that. We're waiting on this new internet company. They're actually going to run fiber wire, so it's going to be great internet. So the quality, the content's going to be the same. I'm not changing who I am. So if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. But the quality of the videos, like the intros, 3D graphics, logos, all that stuff, going to be way better. I'll be able to interact as far as dropping links and commenting with you guys way more. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be legit. This year, yeah, I would say Coastal Carolina is the best team in South Carolina. This year. Spartans versus Cincinnati. Who you got? I got Cincinnati. Cincinnati has way more experience than Michigan State. Michigan State's a good team, and I think it would be a close game. I really do. But I think Cincinnati is just a little bit better with the experience. I mean, this team has been together for at least 3 years. The majority of the starters. 85% of their production from last year. Offense and defense back. Do I like Domino's Pizza? Yeah, I do. We actually order that quite a bit. But my favorite is Papa John's. They just don't deliver out this way, so I'm SOL on that one. 5 minutes. I'm ready. I want to see how stupid the first playoff rankings look like. Yeah, I think Joey's working on dropping the link. But yeah, I appreciate that, Raj. Hanging out with you is it's a real trip, man. If you hang out with Raj and you are not entertained, you need to check your pulse. Seriously. You need to check your pulse. That dude is full of energy. Man, and he loves his dogs for sure. And he lets you know it too. My top 4. Oh, first off, Ohio State versus Oklahoma. I'm taking Ohio State, the Buckeyes, for sure. My top 4. There's the PayPal link. Thanks, Joey. My top 4. Number 1, Georgia. 2, Cincinnati. I would give the 3 spot to Michigan State. I think they've earned it. So, 1, Georgia. 2, Cincinnati. 3, Michigan State. That 4 spot, probably have to give it to Oklahoma. Just because, you know, I think Ohio State would beat Oklahoma on a head-to-head, but Oklahoma, they haven't lost. Ohio State has lost once, so yeah. Begrudgingly, I would give it to Oklahoma as of this point in time. So my top four would be 1, Georgia, 2, Cincinnati, 3, Michigan State, and 4, Oklahoma. There you go. There's my top four. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not going to give Cincinnati number 2. I get it. And if there were more undefeated teams, like if Alabama were still undefeated, or a Texas A&M, or a fill in the blank in the SEC, if there was another team in the SEC that was undefeated right now, I'd probably have them at number 2. If Oklahoma didn't look like they're barely surviving, I would probably have Oklahoma above Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati at number 2, number 1 because they're undefeated, and kind of by default. Everybody else has lost a game. Cincinnati has not, and they did beat a top 10 Notre Dame team. Guys, it's kind of the same argument as Oklahoma. Notre Dame hasn't looked great, but they were a top 10 team when they played Cincinnati, and that's their only loss. It's kind of the same situation with Oklahoma. They don't look like a top 10 team, but they're undefeated. So you have to do that. I would be okay with Michigan State being number 2. I think Cincinnati and Michigan State would be interchangeable at this point in time. So I'd be okay with that. Uh, 1 minute. It's literally counting down. 1 minute 9 seconds. 1 minute 8 seconds. We are getting close. Turn up. 57, 56. Heck, I know my team's not going to be in West Virginia. We're not even going to be in top 25. But I just love college football so much that I'm very excited on this. Super excited.
Right now, the Sixers are off to a 5-2 start. They face the 6-1 Bulls tomorrow night on the show, the very latest around Philly and Ben Simmons.
Having more NBA news as well. The Bucks announcing that Chris Middleton tested positive for COVID.
By the way, the third chance are
Where is MYM?
in Detroit. We've got a little bit of time. How are we feeling about tonight?
Game 6 of the World Series. I'm feeling like the Williams are
Joey. Mod him up, man. Raj is, yeah, he should be a mod. That's a good question. I don't know what happened. All right, counting down. He saw the seconds ticking down, and he still talked past it. You dummy. They were literally counting you down, and you still got cut off because you were talking. Some people just can't shut up. Unbelievable.
Who will be behind Georgia? The Bulls say in Cincinnati. How much will the Bearcats' resume matter? And how much does early season head-to-head count, even if Ohio State looks at
That's a good question. I think head-to-head counts, but the way I look at it is, yes, Oregon beat Ohio State, but Oregon also lost to Stanford. So Oregon's loss to Stanford is worse than Ohio State's loss to Oregon. I know people are like, well, all things considered equal, head-to-head, Oregon beat Ohio State. I understand that. But they both only have one loss, and Oregon's loss is worse than Ohio State's. Alabama. After looking at their schedule, who they played and who they lost to, I would have Notre Dame at either 7 or 8. Possibly, no, I'm not putting them ahead of Ohio State. Sorry. 7 would be the highest, ahead of Oregon. That would be the highest. But that's not disrespecting. Hold on, Raj. Oh crap. Forgot it's not on this phone. Shoot. Joey, text this phone the information to PayPal so I can check it on this phone. I forgot I was using that phone, and that's what I check my PayPal on. So all the stuff for PayPal, send it to this phone real quick so I can download that and check it real quick. Completely forgot about that. When I'm on live, I can't check PayPal on this or it'll cut it off. So I need Joey to send all that information over to that number.
There are 6 new members on the committee. That is the most, as I said, 5 of them, their first and
Yeah, head-to-head wins do mean something.
back for a second stint after stepping in for R.C. Slocum, ready to step aside. Got coaching experience there with Joe Taylor, a 5-time coach.
But if Oregon, okay, if Oregon would have lost to maybe Arizona State or Utah, and that was their one loss, I would give the nod to Oregon. But Stanford, they don't even have a winning record, so that loss is worse by far than Ohio State losing to Oregon. So yeah, it does count for something. Had Oregon lost to a better team like Utah or Arizona State, hell, even UCLA, yeah, I would give the nod to Oregon, but not when you lose to a Stanford. You can't do that.
Who's number 2? Will it be? Who's mentioned? Like Oklahoma or Cincinnati. Could it even one lost Alabama? That would be a major surprise.
That is a big question. Who's number 2?
Quite a bit. Speaking of Cincinnati, where did the Bearcats fit in? They're currently ranked second in the AP poll. The highest ranking ever for a team outside and powered by competition. 7th, that was Cincinnati last year. What does head-to-head matter? On September 11th, Oregon outplayed Ohio State. Looked like the better team on the field that day. Since then, Ohio State.
They are bringing up September 11th when Oregon beat Ohio State. That is in the conversation. Kirk Herbstreit, man.
Tonight matters more to Cincinnati than any other team in the entire country. They went on the road, got a huge win against Notre Dame, and that'll be their best win they can possibly get all season long. So now we start talking about style points. How much does that matter to this committee? They're talking about a Cincinnati team that didn't look great against Navy, beat it by 7.
You know, I understand that they didn't look great against Navy, but they still won. They still battled through that adversity.
And how that affects Cincinnati while also paying attention to if SMU is
Oh, there you go. Mod Raj. I'm going to call you Mod Raj now. There you go.
told tonight in terms of where is Cincinnati in respect to this committee.
Well, he's for Cincinnati, but also Kings for Oregon. And I think
But we all know that Georgia's number 1. There's no debate on that. And the scary thing is, Georgia still has room for improvement on offense. They're demolishing people, but they could still improve on offense. Just imagine if they were, working at their highest capacity on offense. It'd be even worse. And that's not trash talking Georgia. That tells you how good they are. With Stetson Bennett as their quarterback. Imagine if JT Daniels was able to start for them. I don't even know. They would just be. They're already blowing people out. I don't know what more you can do.
And again, this system is built for the end of the year.
Yeah, streaming services. Well, once I get my internet and I can use my laptop, man,
Cincinnati and Oregon.
things are gonna be much better. And I'll have my soundboard, so I'll have multiple phone lines for call-in shows. I'm telling you, when the fiber internet comes,
Oregon has the most embarrassing loss.
I'm excited about that.
Stanford. Yeah, Joe Moorhead wasn't there.
He just said it. Oregon has the more embarrassing loss to Stanford. Agree.
3-5 Stanford.
And I know he's an Ohio State fan, so he's going to lean towards Ohio State. But that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Oregon has the more embarrassing loss than Ohio State. I know
It's the entire
that they have the head-to-head.
every week matters in what you do.
Entire body, every week matters. Agree, Kirk. You're still a goon, but I agree with that. What I'm about to say, I'm actually going to make a video on. Kirby Smart actually agrees with my assessment. Recruiting is a huge... Okay, top 25. Pitt stays in the top 25. Wow. 24, San Diego State. 23, Fresno State. 22, Iowa. Wow, they dropped Iowa way down. Wisconsin is ranked in the first playoff rankings. There you go, Wisconsin fan. Number 21, Wisconsin makes it in the first rankings.
Yeah, I think it says the committee has some respect for what the Big Ten is. You know, we all talk Big Ten. Because we know there's
You know, I'm okay with Wisconsin
the Big Ten West.
being at 21, but I still don't like them above Iowa. They have one more loss. I know they beat Iowa. I get that, but I would have Pitt. I would have Wisconsin at 25. I would have them in the top 25, but not that high. Not that high. But yeah, the playoff committee is already losing respect right there. I'm telling you, right off the bat, they're losing respect. Dropping Iowa that low, I mean, I know they got stomped twice, but still they're only a 2-loss team. If you're dropping them that low, you know, if they get stomped next week, then you drop them all the way out. This is weird already. I don't disagree with Wisconsin being ranked. That's not the point. But the call-in show, Joey. The call-in show. Not the call-in number. That's what I need you to text to. 20 through 16. Minnesota. Yes, I've had Minnesota. I had, you know, almost did a video on my top 25, but then other things happened. But I have it written down to prove it. Where at? Do I have it written down? No. Crap. But Mississippi State number 20, NC State 19, Kentucky 18. Mississippi State. What? Mississippi State at number 17. What? And Ole Miss at number 16. Mississippi State at 17?
Yeah, Reese, I think you touched on it. Let's keep following this trend. That's important. If Mississippi State at 5-3, the committee again had to say we're going to put Kentucky at 18. There's no way we can have Mississippi State at 19 or 20.
Shut up, Kirk. That's not the rationale you use. Oh, they just beat Kentucky, so they have to be ranked. You got to look at their total record too. Stupid. You're just trying to explain their mistake. This is nonsense already, guys. This is nonsense already. Mississippi State at numbers. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's the playoff committee sucking up to the SEC again. Bull crap. BYU 15, Texas A&M 14, Auburn 13, Baylor 12, Oklahoma State 11. This is the first set of 5 that I'm okay with. The first set of 5, I thought Wisconsin was a little too high. No big deal. Last set of 5, Mississippi State at number 17. That is unbelievable nonsense. Unfreaking believable nonsense. I already know what's coming. The screwing, Cincinnati. The screwing is coming. Get ready. Lube up. It's coming.
This is why wherever OU is tonight doesn't matter. Because they still have to play Oklahoma State. They still have to play Baylor. I'm saying because the Big Ten East is backloaded, the Big 12 is backloaded. Tonight doesn't
Wow.
they will have a chance to
Right off the bat, it's a joke.
with Oklahoma State and Baylor being that close to the top 10.
A week from Saturday, Baylor gets the Sooners in Waco.
Yeah, I think it's important to look at, you guys are touching on it, but both those Big 12 teams, because of what's ahead of them, they're definitely alive in this thing. Baylor not only has OU,
See, the playoff committee is setting up the SEC to not fail.
15, that just helps.
They want 2 teams in, so
We'll see what happens to Baylor.
that helps Texas A&M because now losing to Mississippi State isn't bad at all because Mississippi State's ranked. Anybody that Mississippi State beats isn't a bad loss, and anybody that beats Mississippi State, that's a great win all of a sudden. See what that... Wow.
Let's show you one at a time. The top 10 and the
Top 10, one at a time. Number 10, Notre Dame. I'm okay with that.
Notre Dame, their lone loss coming
So that means Wake Forest is well inside the top 10. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow.
I don't see this team losing another game. They go to Virginia.
Notre Dame, they have a long shot, but Notre Dame still has a shot
Last week,
to get to the playoffs. A lot of things need to happen. A lot of other teams in front of them need to screw up. They still got a shot. And like I've said, do they root for Cincinnati to make that loss not so bad? Or do they root against Cincinnati and that opens up a spot? That's a tricky spot to be in. And they don't have a conference championship. I don't know.
with what they have left on this schedule.
at number 9.
Wake Forest. Wake Forest is ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I like it. I like it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Undefeated Wake Forest, number 9 in the nation. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? Not me. All right, top 10's okay so far. We're okay so far.
Sam Hartman's been really good. I don't know that Wake Forest will have a shot to make a move because the ACC has been so bad. Pitt is leading the Tulsa right now, and they're at the back end of these rankings at 25.
Joseph Scott, you said it right there. I mean, it looks pretty to see Wake at 9. We all love Dave Claus and the job he's done. They have beaten nobody. They don't have nobody in front of them.
Kurt just, oh my gosh.
Potentially ACC champion.
Kurt just trash talked the way. Oh my gosh. If you're a Demon Deacon fan, you hate Kurt.
I don't want to take anything away from what they've done.
Wow. He said it's pretty to see Wake Forest at number 9, but they haven't beaten anybody. And even the rest of the way, it's not going to prove anything. That's Kirk, not me, Kirk.
Which is 2 spots better than Cincinnati. At number 8.
Oklahoma at number 8. Oh my gosh. The committee does not respect the Sooners. That's hilarious.
We just saw Wake Forest rewarded. Haven't you played?
1 spot above Wake Forest. Congratulations, Sooners. You're 1 spot better than the Demon Deacons.
But it also shows you that this committee values the eye test a little bit.
Wow.
They value maybe that 0 in the loss column. Because this Oklahoma team, they've been unpredictable, they've been unreliable.
Wow.
They've been up and down the line.
I didn't see that one coming. I did not see that one coming.
Deep dive into the Sooners and just how inconsistent they can be. Maybe that game.
I say congratulations to the committee. I say congratulations to the committee.
Oh, of course, Kirk is saying congratulations to the committee, applauding them, kissing their butt, smelling like doo-doo all over his face. Yeah, we already know, Kirk. We already know who signs the checks. Shut up. We already know.
They have not played a complete game. Caleb Williams has helped light a fire on the offense. This defense has not played up to their standard.
Frickin' brown noser.
Taken themselves more serious and the opponent more serious and play up to their capabilities in every phase of the game because they're going maybe put one game together and that was last week. This team almost looks bored and they better light a fuse quickly or they're going to get left behind.
That game was Texas Tech last week, and I don't know if you can underestimate the impact of that abysmal performance against the hapless Kansas team the week before might have had on this committee. 1 spot ahead of the Sooners at number 7.
Michigan.
Michigan didn't fall far. They led the entire game.
They have Michigan ahead of Oklahoma.
Against Michigan State, they did not.
Wow.
They had won the loss column.
Sooner fans are pissed right now. Pissed. Not 1 syllable, 2 syllables. Pissed. Pissed.
That kind of game when they had a lead 30-14 in the second half. And lose
This is crazy, guys. This,
at number 7.
playoff committee out of left field tonight. Out of left field.
For what Michigan State is. So I'm going to say that means Michigan State goes to the top 4.
I might even go as far as to say they might be the top 2. I mean, you look at this Michigan State team.
Oh, predicting Michigan State to be in the top 2. Wow. Michigan State might be in the top 4. I'm telling you, this is setting that up to where Michigan State's in the top 4.
By the way, has a statement win of their own in dominating Wisconsin on the road in Camp Randall. This says an awful lot about the
All right, I'm turning it back down until the top 6.
Bears, and understandably so.
But if you're going
So,
to reward
from what I've seen, I would bet money.
Oregon, if
I would bet money that
Stanford,
Michigan State's in the top 4.
Michigan State played the second half against Nebraska, in which they ran more plays than they gained yards. You know, so I mean, everything is supposed to count. They also stumbled around against Indiana. I mean, one stumble is okay. Well, I agree with that. One stumble.
Whoa. So, who do we have left? We still have Alabama. We still have Oregon. We still have Ohio State. We still have Michigan State. We still have Georgia and Cincinnati. Those are the 6 teams we have left. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I think that they're cut above everybody.
I don't think they're going to 2. I think they're going to take.
Man, if they have Cincinnati anywhere below number 3, here we go.
Number 1 team in the initial ranking college football playoff selection committee.
We already know who number 1 is. Georgia.
Separation is between Georgia.
So they're not going to build that up, of course.
Well, through 8 weeks, it's pretty obvious. It's a pretty big gap right now. The defense alone. I mean, Stetson Bennett, he's just trying to hold on to the reins there and not lose the game on that side of the ball. I think Todd Monken's doing a great job with the offense, playing complementary football. But yeah, for now,
You like the
they can't
serious
lose, but for now,
theatrical music they're playing with it?
Georgia, right now, there's everybody else.
All right, this is the question of week 1.
Number
What does
2.
the committee think? Georgia's easy. Number 2's not. Who is number 2?
Alabama.
Alabama.
I told y'all. Morons.
I've seen you react to something. I'm a little shocked by it. Wins over teams with winning records. Solid wins.
Football is wrecked. Football is wrecked.
Mississippi State as well. The thing is, for everybody who's going to get all up in arms about this, as you look ahead, this is going to take care of itself. Alabama will either lose and not get to the SEC championship game to play Georgia, or they'll get there and lose, or they'll win out and they'll be in.
But having them at number 2, though, having them at number 2, if they win out, that still opens the door to the possibility of them not falling outside of the top 4 with a close loss to Georgia. It opens the door.
So 2 losses, it won't happen.
Are you not surprised?
No.
I mean, let's say what else.
No.
Yes, I'm surprised.
Okay, so because we're talking about an Alabama team, which I have a ton of respect for, but we talked about this earlier, they've shown cracks. And they've shown cracks twice. Texas A&M, second half.
Newsflash, Alabama hasn't beaten any current top 10 ranked teams in the nation. Cincinnati has. You have Notre Dame ranked at number 10. You're contradicting yourself, you stupid playoff committee. Michigan State number 3.
Met in the playoff once before in 2000.
I told you, Cincinnati. I told you.
What do you think?
Wow.
It doesn't matter where the heck Alabama is.
Wow.
You set the table there. If they win out and they beat Georgia, they're in. If they lose to Georgia, they're out. So for fans that are looking at the 2 teams from the SEC and you're panicking, don't.
Wow.
The reason you should panic, it'd be the same reason if Alabama were at 5 or 4 or 3. If they beat Bama, they're both in. So no matter what happens, it still comes down to that game in Atlanta. Michigan State, you guys just said they could be up at 2, definitely.
They're going with the moneymaker conferences.
Without beating a team with a
It wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State was 4. Would not surprise me.
5 minutes to go in the third quarter, they're down 30 to 14. Come back and win, and they turned their season around with that, and the committee recognized it, put them in the top 3.
Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, understanding that it can all change at the moment. The playoffs started today, which it does not, because if it did, we wouldn't be sitting here. Who's number 4? Consistency and
Oregon.
Head-to-head is mattered.
Oregon.
At number 4.
Oregon.
This further proves the point. Now, the people are probably going to be alarmed by the fact that Cincinnati, at this point, on the outside looking in, but this furthers the point that Cincinnati ultimately does not control its own destiny. They're at the mercy of what transpires in the Power Five. No disrespect to Cincinnati, they've done a remarkable job. They've scheduled up, they beat Indiana, they beat Notre Dame. But ultimately, if Oregon wins the rest of their games and wins the Pac-12, they're going to make the college football playoff. Same can be said for Michigan State, same can be said for Ohio State, which could potentially leave Cincinnati on the outside.
They have no idea what they're doing. Well, actually, they do know what they're doing. They're just, it's all about the money.
Considering the win they have against Ohio State.
I told y'all, Cincinnati fans, I warned you. I warned you.
And answer, no matter whether they're 5 or 6, is going to be a significant amount of help. They're going to have things fall out.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have some help. It's interesting that Oregon is in for is such a great debate about head-to-head and what they did in that game, and then what they did on the back end of that game for really 3 straight weeks. And you and I talked about it a lot off the air. You fill out your AP poll, and each week would go by, and you're kind of scratching your head like, man, Oregon's kind of sliding down, and Ohio State's going in a different direction. It's easy to put Ohio State ahead of them now. If they didn't have that UCLA win and they followed it up with a dominating win against Colorado, they're not sitting there, even though they could have won those games and not looked good doing it. I think they turned their fortunes around in the last 2 weeks, and that's why they're up at the top 4.
Well, they need to. The margin of error is gone as it pertains to the playoff. Let's look at number 5. See who's in which order. Ohio State, Cincinnati. Who's 5? It is Ohio State getting the nod over Cincinnati. So the consolation prize for the Bearcats is that when they were revealed right now at number 6, that is the highest ranking in the college football playoff era for a team outside the Power 5 conferences. Still an entire month of football to play. The SMU game that Joey mentioned, potential matchup with Houston at the end, perhaps could bolster the resume, though the rankings there would not reflect at the moment that the committee has a high regard for those teams in the American. So we've seen how it shakes out with Georgia and Alabama leading the way somewhat surprisingly, Michigan State, Oregon, and then Ohio State, Cincinnati. Big picture, Kirk, what's your reaction to it?
Well, the focus on Cincinnati, a group of 5 team. We've been here before where, the people talk about a ceiling and how it's unfair.
Cincinnati's not getting in. They're not getting in.
You're pulling for the Georgia Bulldogs to win the rest of their games.
No, it doesn't, Kirk. It doesn't matter what happens. Cincinnati's not making the playoffs, guys. They're not making the playoffs. No chance. No chance. Done.
Now, don't forget this, Cincinnati fans. It's not just what's in front of you, it's what's behind you. If Oklahoma keeps winning, they've got some legitimate games on their schedule coming up. Baylor, Iowa State, and Bedlam on the road in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. And a big
Michigan, Oklahoma.
you have to worry about what's behind you, not just what's in front of you. So clearly, the Bearcats are going to need some help.
And what he referenced, what's behind you, the team sitting at number 10,
Sorry, guys. I'm writing this down. I was too into it to write it down when it happened. Cincinnati has a win over a top 10 team, guys.
they can feel real strongly about the likelihood of them finishing at 11-1. So I think Cincinnati is well,
The only other teams that can say that,
just like Kirk said,
Oregon and Michigan State.
11-1 is massive for the Cincinnati Bearcats. We pulled hard for the Fighting Irish every single
Wow.
Notre Dame, and they lose at Virginia, perhaps, because Virginia's defense wants to go hire Tony Bennett. Their basketball coach has a potential defense analyst. But I look at the things that are going on behind
Yeah, UTSA, not even ranked.
because of Wake Forest being undefeated, because of Oklahoma being undefeated. Even if you want to extend it just a little bit further, with Baylor at 12 and Oklahoma State at 11, teams that are ranked right now 7 through 12 could easily overtake Cincinnati if things kind of fall the way they actually fall. The only one who can't, in my opinion, would be Notre Dame, who of course lost there against the Bearcats earlier in the season.
This is a shame. If you saying you're looking at my reaction, you would think that I'm a Cincinnati fan. You would say the same thing about or Wisconsin or lack thereof. What was the other team? Mississippi State or lack thereof. Gordon A, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says if Cincy is 5 or higher in the CFP rankings, I think that would be the highest a group of 5 has ever been ranked. which could be a step in the right direction. Well, they're number 6, which is still highest group of 5 has ever been, but that's... by the way, Gordon, since your super chat was $5, you get entered to win full-size helmet and a $50 prize from Tri-State Woodsketch. Congratulations. Sorry, I'm not. My voice isn't exactly upbeat right now. I'm just. Exactly. Every single spot. Thank you, Outlaw of College Football, for your $5 super chat. I was a supporter of Cincy until they struggled with inferior competition. They need to man up. I get what you're saying. But who hasn't struggled? Alabama lost to Texas A&M. Congratulations, Outlaw. Your $5 super chat. One entry. You get one entry into my drawing for a full-size helmet of your choosing and a $50 prize, $50 worth prize from Tri-State Woodsketch. So there you go, man. You are entered into that contest. For those of you who are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, every $5 sent as a super chat or through the PayPal, it equals one entry to winning a full-size helmet. Your choice. It's not going to be my helmet or West Virginia. Whoever your team is, that's the helmet you'll receive. And a $50, a prize worth $50 from Tri-State Woodsketch. Stuff like this. This. It's really good for Christmas time because, we all know these people were like, I don't know what the heck to get them. What do I buy them for Christmas? Well, if you go over to Tri-State, send them the picture. They transfer it on the wood. Family picture, couples picture, logo of your favorite team. They do it all, man. They do it all. So if you have a person that you have no idea how to shop for them, Tri-State Woodsketch. Easy, easy. I have to process this. This is insane, guys. So, they left UTSA out, but kept San Diego State in, even though San Diego State just lost to Fresno State. What in the world is going on? And Mississippi State at number 17? Welcome to the SEC butt-kissing contest. That's what that was. No, it wasn't more respectable because Texas A&M wasn't ranked at the time. And if Alabama beats Texas A&M right then, Texas A&M wouldn't be ranked now. The only reason Texas A&M is ranked is because they beat Alabama. So I disagree with that. Sorry, bud. Joe Quinn Fernandez, thank you for the $5 super chat, says the 12-team playoff needs to fix this. Needs to fix these absurd rankings. Alabama is at 2. I know. I absolutely know. It's insane. Congratulations, Joe Quinn. You are entered to win full-size helmet. Prize worth $50 from Tri-State Woodsketch. Every $5 you spend on a super chat equals one entry. So, one entry whenever we do the drawing. And drawing will be on November 17th because I won't be able to buy the helmet until my next YouTube paycheck, which will be on the 20th. So we'll do the drawing on the 17th. And we'll do that on a live show, but I will reveal who the winner is on a regular video. So everybody will get to see who won the full-size helmet and the prize worth up to $50 from Tri-State WizCatch. So congratulations, you are officially entered into that contest. Wow, this is a little nuts, guys. And Houston, not ranked. This was a total trashing of the AAC. Total trashing of the AAC. Wow. You know, when they announced that we were having the playoffs, I was hoping that it was just expanding. I didn't have a problem with the BCS formula. The problem was it wasn't big enough to include teams that might have been the best team. So the playoffs just weren't big enough. But what they did was they stretched the playoffs, then they were like, we're doing away with the computers, which was actually a great way to do it. Strictly the human element. So what we're seeing is strictly a committee's opinion. These rankings are opinionated rankings. That's all it is. Opinionated rankings. Nothing more. And I agree with that. A pretty loss isn't better than an ugly win. A pretty loss is still 0-1, and an ugly win is still 1-0. I do agree with that 100%. And here's the thing. So right now, what they're doing on this selection show right now is comparing resumes. And hold on, guys, I gotta write this down. 16 Ole Miss, Kentucky, NC State, and Minnesota. All right, so what they're doing right now is resume comparison. I knew they were going to do that. Knew it. That's why I did what I did, and I wrote down my own resumes on who beat who, by how much, and what the record of that team is now. I think that gets overlooked as well. Like, oh, they beat the number whatever team in the nation back then. Well, what's their ranking right now? Let's see, 23 is Fresno. And San Diego State. Playoff committee guys talking right now. Hold on.
We do put them in bunches, but then we vote on them in larger chunks. So what I mean by that is we'll look at Michigan State.
So they put them in
Ohio
bunches.
State, Cincinnati all at once, and then we'll look at, we'll add Michigan to that in Oklahoma, and we'll go through that process. But ultimately, we'll vote for the first three, and you vote for your top six, and then the averages of.
He's trying his hardest to explain it, but he's not doing a good job.
But the averages come out, and Michigan State made its way to number 3 through that process. But Michigan State, they are still undefeated. They had that big win against Michigan this past weekend, and that was they were behind, as everybody knows. They didn't
Just trying to explain it.
And beat a very good Michigan team, and so that's how they ended up at number 3.
All right, Gary, telling us how the sausage is made and sharing that with America. That's why you're here right now. So we appreciate the insight.
And I'm from the Midwest, so I have.
We got a little
I am
insight.
from the Midwest, so I've made.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. There is no explaining nonsense is the bottom line. So here's the bottom line. So Cincinnati gets screwed. I thought they would. They're at number 6. So your top 4 is going to be number 1, Georgia, number 2, Alabama, number 3, Oregon, number 4, Michigan State. There is no alternate parallel universe where I would have came up with that top 4. That was not in my brain. Especially Oregon. No. Oregon and Alabama together in the top 4. My brain couldn't do that. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 6, the Bearcats. Number 7, Michigan. Number 8, the Sooners. I kind of see where they're going with that, but, I mean, they're undefeated. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand the rationale. Number 9, Wake Forest. Number 10, Notre Dame. So with the top 10 biggest problems, of course, Alabama at 2, Oregon at 3, and then Cincinnati being at 6. I don't agree with that. Number 11, Oklahoma State. Number 12, Baylor. Number 13, Auburn. Number 14, Texas A&M. Number 15, BYU. That's probably the one group of 5 bunch that I agree with. Okay. Number 16, Ole Miss. Number 17, Mississippi State. This is called the roundabout thinking. Okay. This is why they put Mississippi State at 17, all right? So, Mississippi State beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M beat Alabama. So, if you have Mississippi State ranked at number 17, oh, and by the way, Alabama dismantled Mississippi State. See, they're trying to explain their own choices by ranking teams where they're not supposed to rank them. Mississippi State has no business being number 17. No business whatsoever. Maybe sniffing the top 25 right there at the edge. But number 17, all they're doing is covering their footprints. That's why they rank Mississippi State number 17. That way it looks like Alabama beat mighty Mississippi State, who's a top 20 team. Mississippi State beat Texas A&M, but Mississippi State's a good team, so that's not a bad loss for Texas A&M. And then Texas A&M beat Alabama. Oh, so that's not a bad loss because Texas A&M, even though they lost to Mississippi State, that's not a bad loss. They're explaining their decisions by these rankings. So that was deliberate. The playoff committee putting Mississippi State at number 17, deliberate covering up their tracks. That's what that was. Number 18, Kentucky. Number 19, NC State. I really like Minnesota at number 20. I think Minnesota could end up winning the Big Ten West. I like that. Wisconsin at 21. I think that's a smidge high. I like Wisconsin in the top 25, but at 21, maybe I'm just splitting hairs. I don't know. But Minnesota, I'm trying to remember who beat who. I know those two teams already played. I think Wisconsin actually beat Minnesota. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, I think Wisconsin beat Minnesota. If you already know it, share with the group. I'm just looking it up real quick. And this phone takes forever. So if you already know who won between Wisconsin and Minnesota, by all means, drop it in the chat. All right, here we go. And Minnesota is at the top of the Big Ten right now, 4-1. Last week of the season, Paul Bunyan's axe. There we go. That's going to be the battle of the Big Ten West. There you go, right there. And Minnesota leads the Big Ten West at 6-2. Wisconsin 5-3. Top 25 team, maybe 21, a little high, but that'll work itself out. And then Iowa at 22. I understand that. Fresno State at 23, like it. San Diego State 24. That makes no sense. So you have San Diego State ranked who just lost, and UTSA is nowhere to be found. And yet, in the latest AP poll, UTSA was what, 16th, 17th? And 25, Pitt. I'm actually okay with that. And yes, I hate Pitt. All right, so phone line now open. If you have the number to the show, please call in. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you don't have the number to the show, all you have to do is email me. Joey's going to put my email right up there, or the email to email. All you do, email me, tell me your name, the number you're calling from, and then we will email you back the number to the call-in show. That's how simple it is. Just an email away. But those of you who already have the number to the call-in show, feel free to call in, rant, rave, praise the playoff committee, whatever you want to do. Trash talk, ramble. It's up to you. So, yeah. If you have the number to the call-in show, please call in. Not surprising, Wisconsin fan calling in first. You know, I'm going to Blue Dude. I'm guessing you're really, really happy about Wisconsin.
I am, but I am so disappointed in this committee.
You know, I expected it, but still to actually see... Yeah, I expected them to be a little bit off, but this is way off. Like, they're in the twilight zone.
Yeah, like, I think if they're talking about groups, it's pretty simple. Number 1's Georgia. 2 and 3 need to be, in either order, Cincinnati, Michigan State.
There you go.
And then number 4 through 8 needs to be Oklahoma. It needs to be Georgia, or not Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Wake Forest, and I think that's it.
Yeah. I don't think Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati should be out of the top 4. Number 4, I would have been disappointed, but I'd be like, well, okay, I understand the playoff committee don't respect them, but to have Cincinnati at number 6, that's inexcusable.
Yeah. Like Wisconsin, and I do like Wisconsin there because if they beat, I think it's Rutgers. Yeah, it's Rutgers, Northwestern Maryland, and Minnesota. That's the Big Ten West. And
yeah.
That's all they got to do, and they're in the Big Ten championship.
Well, I think, like I said earlier, I think Minnesota versus Wisconsin will be for the Big Ten West. Like the winner gets in.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only way it won't be is if Minnesota loses another game, and then Wisconsin, I think, would win by default unless they lose another game.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, and also Mississippi State, like as you said, UTSA should be in there.
How old are you, Wisconsin fan? Are you like 12, 11?
I don't know.
Well, I was trying to show the people how wise you are for your years. You're saying some wise things for a non-adult. Very wise. I agree with it.
Yeah, and I just someone in my family's a former Badgers pregame host, and I went down and talked to him, and he said straight up that what they did is they went with the SEC because the SEC is going to make them money.
Yep.
That's all that they care about is money.
I agree with that 100%.
It's just ridiculous, and I'm so tired of seeing this. And
I know that's the thing.
Cincinnati's not going to make the playoff. Oregon shouldn't even be in the top 8. Oregon, I don't know how they got up there.
I would put Oregon in the top 6. I think I would struggle with Ohio State and Oregon 5 and 6. But Oregon in the top 4, especially at number 3, is sheer nonsense. That's nonsense. Complete idiocy. They're rewarding that win over Ohio State more than an undefeated record. You know, that's Cincinnati also has a win over a top 10 team, and they haven't lost. Oregon, yes, they have a win over a top 10 team, but they lost to lowly Stanford. How does that not count for anything?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. For real, that's what I was saying. It's ridiculous at this point. And also, was Baylor in the rankings at all?
They were number 12, I think, right behind Oklahoma State.
Okay.
To me, you know, whenever I think about it, you know what this shows me? Losses don't matter. It's who you beat. Doesn't matter who you lose to, it's who you beat. That's what they're saying. As long as you have a great win, if you have a one loss, that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, and also, if you're going to put Bama number 2, then you have to put Texas A&M in there.
Yeah, I know, right?
If you're going to...
Yeah. If that's the logic you're going by, then Texas A&M's a top 14.
Yeah,
Wait. Mississippi State. Here's your top 4. Here's your top 4. 1 Georgia, 2 Alabama, 3 Texas A&M, 4 Mississippi State. There's your top 4.
Yeah, if that's going to be their logic, then just do that. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I don't understand what I'm watching here.
So how's West Virginia gonna finish this year?
I think they'll get to a bowl. How good of a bowl depends
Okay.
on this next game. If we beat Oklahoma State, we could win out. This is our biggest game left. It's our toughest game
For
and it's our
real.
biggest game. Now,
Yeah,
I'm expecting us to lose. I'm just going to be real. Oklahoma State's a really good team, better than Iowa State. So I'm expecting West Virginia to lose. I would say by a touchdown, maybe 10 points. But I think we beat Kansas and Kansas State on the road, and a really good shot of beating Texas. So I'm going to say either 6-6 or 7-5.
Yeah, and finally, what is there any news outside that you have outside of West Virginia and Group of 5 realignment? Is there anything you know about any other teams?
The only things I know, West Virginia, Notre Dame seems to be a package deal to the ACC. All the MAC, the Conference USA, who else? The Sun Belt and the AAC, all them shuffling their teams. And then, of course, Boise State, Fresno State, and San Diego State waiting on Big 12 bids, possibly Memphis. But outside of that,
Okay.
no.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to see if the Big 10 or Pac-12 is really going to do anything.
Yeah, I know. Now there's a lot of pressure on Oregon. Now I'm interested to see how they handle that pressure. I think they're going to lose right out of the gate.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you go. But I just wanted to call in and share my frustration. Like I know everyone in the comments and trying to call in has the same frustration.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate you calling in, bud.
No problem.
All right, man. Have a good one. On Wisconsin. Yeah, I actually had Wisconsin in my rankings, just not quite that high. I know that's splitting hairs, but it's a little much. But dang, I'm gonna run for 10 more minutes, guys. But then I gotta go off here. The whole bedtime routine. So if you want to get a call in, get it in real quick. Rant, rave, brag. I told you so. Go to Bluetooth. Whatever you want to say. Now's the time to do it. I'm in shock, guys. There's no other way to explain it. I'm in shock. I thought they could bump Cincinnati as low as 4th, and I would be a little bit mad about that, but 6th, that's straight up disrespect. That's straight up disrespect. So, and another thing is, people don't think about this. All right, so think about this, guys. In the AP poll, they have SMU and Houston, both in the AAC, both Cincinnati will play. Both of those teams are ranked in the AP poll. In the playoff poll, neither one of them are ranked. They're not even going to give Cincinnati a chance to have another win against a ranked opponent. I'm telling you, they have thought this thing through, sideways, front ways, up and down, however you want to word it. They knew that they were going to screw Cincinnati. I mean, they knew it. This was planned. So, having Mississippi State at 17, that's going to explain why Alabama's so high, because they just butt-whooped Mississippi State. That's a good win. Mississippi State's a top 20 team. And, Texas A&M, that's not a terrible loss. They're number 14. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, they're going to have a shot to play SMU and Houston, who are ranked in the AP top 25. Playoff poll? Nah, we're not going to rank them. That would give Cincinnati more arguments to be higher up. So we're going to keep them out of the top 25. That way, Cincinnati has no argument to get in the top 4. So, yeah, we'll leave them out. We'll leave them out. That way, Cincinnati will only have one good win all year, and that'll be at Notre Dame. So that's it. that explains why we have Cincinnati at 6. There you go. College football with Jonathan Lewis, SMU and Houston. Come on, bro. Go look at the AP poll. My point is, in the AP poll, they're ranked. I'm not saying that's a great win. That's an elite win. But that would actually be 3 more opportunities to get a win over a ranked opponent added on with beating Notre Dame on the road. So don't twist it. Don't twist what I'm saying. I'm not saying SMU and Houston are, these great wins and, that proves that Cincinnati needs to be in there. No, I'm saying that adds to their resume. You keep SMU and Houston out of your rankings, Cincinnati has 0 shot of adding anything to their resume. At least with SMU and Houston being ranked, it adds something. A win over one... Compare resumes at the end of the year. Cincinnati has 1 win against a ranked opponent compared to 4 wins against a ranked opponent. Yeah, it matters. It matters. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying SMU and Houston are, elite, but it would give Cincinnati several more opportunities to have wins over ranked opponents. So, yeah, the playoff committee thought this through. They knew what they were doing. I told y'all, the playoff committee wants 2 SEC teams in the playoffs. They're good. Before the playoffs, and y'all heard me, I said they're gonna give the SEC every opportunity, every excuse possible to make the playoffs. Boom, right off the bat, first rankings. Georgia 1, yes, agree with that. Alabama 2. Not Alabama 3, not Alabama 4, Alabama 2. With a loss to Texas A&M. Yeah. I'm a little iffy on the Oklahoma thing. Oklahoma, they're undefeated, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence with that. You're all going to blue, dude.
How you doing, GBD?
I'm fuming right now, but I'll make it.
Yeah, I feel you, man. My team ain't anywhere near this race. That is the top 25, but goddamn, bro. I feel for Cincinnati right about now.
I know I keep saying this over and over. I knew they were going to do this to Cincinnati, but I didn't see them putting them at 6. I really didn't. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. Same here. Like, I thought they would drop to maybe 4?
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
5,
Lowest
but not
4.
Yeah.
So who would your top 4 be?
My top 4 right now is probably Georgia, Bama, Cincy, Michigan State.
Okay. I don't like Alabama at 2. I would have Georgia, interchangeable Cincinnati, Michigan State, 1 at 2, 1 at 3, doesn't matter, and then maybe Alabama at 4, maybe.
Yeah.
But Ohio State and Oklahoma, they're undefeated. I know they haven't looked great, but they are undefeated. So
Yeah.
I don't know about them being at number 8.
I'm glad they dropped Oklahoma because they looked really vulnerable all year.
They do.
I don't know if they should have dropped them all the way to 8.
But
I'm glad they at least did that.
Here's the thing. So what they're saying is, if you look vulnerable but are undefeated, we're going to drop you. But if you have 1 loss but have looked better, then we're going to reward you. So it doesn't matter whether you win or lose; it's how you look.
Yeah, it's bizarre, really.
Wins and losses don't matter.
Yeah, a win is a win is a win. That's what's been instilled in our minds since childhood.
So it looks like a great win outweighs a loss. Like, okay, it's not so cut and dry now. Like, a win's a win and a loss is a loss. You can have a loss, but as long as you have a great win, that loss doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A bad loss.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Apparently, a good, quote, good loss is better than being undefeated and looking vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Oh,
Like, you still have to give props to OU because they've gotten through that. They still have a 0 in the loss column.
exactly.
But
That's the
how can you
thing.
punish that much when you don't punish Alabama, who lost to a Texas A&M team that was unranked when they played them?
Right?
Oregon,
agree.
who lost at Stanford, who's 3-5.
Oh, and why is Texas A&M ranked now? There's one reason, and one reason only.
To boost Alabama's resume.
Because they beat Alabama. Yeah, that's it.
Same thing
If
for
Alabama would have
Mississippi.
beaten Texas A&M, we would have not seen the Aggies in the top 25 the rest of the season, I guarantee you.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
So, there you go. They,
All of us hike up Mississippi State to 17 just to boost Bama even more.
yeah. The playoff committee bleeds crimson red for sure.
Clearly, yes. It's disgusting, really.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's about money, but they're shoving it in our faces now. Like,
Yeah. At this point, they're shameless about it.
oh yeah, they're
They
shoving
don't
it in your
care.
face, and they're saying there's nothing you can do about it.
They don't want the top 4 teams. They want the top 4 moneymakers.
I like that
That's it.
comment, man. That's a good comment. I like it.
All
Yeah.
they care about is the money. They don't care about the teams. They care about the money.
You
And
know,
it's always been that way.
the crazy thing though is Cincinnati has proven that they're going to show up to these games, and their games now against the Navy or something like that, probably not very good ratings. But that Notre Dame game and the game against Georgia, top tier, pretty good ratings. So Cincinnati's
Yeah.
proven that they back their team pretty good. I mean, you watch that Notre Dame game, there was a crap ton of Cincinnati fans there.
Yeah, there was a lot of red there.
So I mean,
And it shows that they're going to show up no matter where they play.
at
Whether
this
that is just the New Year's Six or whether that is the playoff, where they should be, but I already
Yeah.
know they won't be.
No, they won't be. No, that was it. For Cincinnati to be in the playoffs, they had to start them out in the top 4. That was their chance. There's no way that Cincinnati works their way into the top 4 now. They're totally
Yeah.
and utterly screwed now. Yeah, if there was somehow, if I were Cincinnati, I would be talking to my lawyers and seeing if there's a lawsuit in there, just to see, hey, is there any type of thing that we can turn this into a lawsuit? Because I mean, they were screwed. I mean, maybe they could get them for revenue lost, something like that. At the end of the
Definitely.
season, they go undefeated and win their conference championship, and they can sue the playoff committee for revenue loss for not putting them in. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, why not give it a shot,
Yeah.
You already know you're not going to make it. It would just help the group of 5 goes out even more.
Right.
They need all the help they can get at this point. So why not give it a shot?
Yeah, and the playoff committee is going off hearsay, like, strength of schedule, if they made it, they would get blown out, all this other stuff. They've never given the group of 5 the chance to even be in the playoffs to prove their points. It's all hearsay.
Yeah. You have to at least give them a shot to be able to
Yeah.
say that.
All right, so now we're looking at the New Year's Six projections right now. We got the Orange Bowl, number 1 Georgia versus number 4 Oregon. In the Cotton Bowl, number 2 Alabama versus number 3 Michigan State. Those are not bad matchups. I'll give them that. I just don't agree with the rankings.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking for matchups. That's the only thing I can figure out. Good matchups that's going to draw money.
Yeah.
But even that sort of doesn't make sense because
Remember-
Michigan State's not that big of a draw. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
What the committee doesn't remember is that Cincinnati was up by double digits in the 4th quarter against the same Georgia team last year
Yeah.
in the Peach Bowl.
And they
I mean,
dominated
sure,
a
they
top 10
lost,
Notre Dame team
but
on the
they proved they could
road.
stick around. Yes. You have to give them the chance before you can write them off.
Exactly. If it doesn't work out, then there you go. There's your ace up your sleeve. You have well, we did it one time and look what happened.
Yeah.
But right now it's hearsay. There isn't look what happened.
And then they argue about, it's giving better matchups. There's been at least 1, maybe 2, even 2 blowouts in the playoff every single year.
Hey, check this out. Muffin Man Jr. YouTube channel. He says, go to Blue Dude. If Auburn wins out and beats Georgia in the SEC championship, do they get in the college football playoffs? Yes, they do.
Oh,
The college football playoffs is not going to turn down a
SEC champ.
SEC champion. I don't care if they have 4 losses. You're getting in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. But
Yeah,
I'm about
all
to get
they
off
care
here,
about
man.
is the money.
I gotta start doing the bedtime routine. Tell the kids good night, bedtime story, all that good stuff.
All right.
The joys of being a dad.
Yeah,
And
really.
it is a joy. I'm not being sarcastic. It really is.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Just like Joey said, thank you, everybody, for making this an amazing live show. Sorry, y'all had to put up with my ranting. I fully admit I went off on that one. So I'm going to take tonight, I'm going to process it, and I'm going to put out the best video possible about the first college football rankings. So you don't want to miss that. All those that super chat, I appreciate it. You guys are now entered to win a full-size helmet and a prize worth up to $50. Shoot, Muffin Man, real quick before I get off here. One more question. Go ahead, bud. Todd says your ranting was completely warranted, dude. Yeah, I mean, to some people will say yes, some people will say, you know, I went off the deep end or whatever. It is what it is. That I believe, you know, whenever you're going to react, just let it happen. Don't try to, you know, I'm going to pretend like it didn't bother me, or I'm going to pretend like it didn't. Whatever your reaction is in the moment, especially when you're doing a live show, just let it happen. So y'all saw my my real react. That was my reaction. That was my raw, uncut reaction. There you go. Let's see. Here it goes. If the Big Ten champ has 2 losses, and Oregon has 2 losses, do they take undefeated Oklahoma or undefeated Cincinnati? Yes. Yes, they have to. They have to. So Georgia gets in. We're going to say they run the table. Let's even say Auburn has 2 losses. No, Georgia has 1 loss. They lose in the SEC championship, and it's to Auburn. Auburn has 2 losses. I'll still put Georgia and Auburn in. Those 2 are in. And you said 2 loss Oklahoma. No, 2 loss Big Ten and 2 loss Oregon. So I would say Cincinnati and Oklahoma. So if that scenario, what you just mentioned happened, it would be Georgia, Alabama, or Auburn, whoever wins that game, and then Cincinnati and Oklahoma. So there you go. Yes, I believe by the end of the year, Oklahoma would have proven their case by going undefeated all the way. John Kelly says, I just saw the rankings. What happened to Oklahoma? I guess looking good and having 1 loss is better than looking vulnerable and being undefeated. That's all I can say. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for stopping by, putting up with me, super chatting, commenting, all that stuff. PayPal, I'm going to check it, I promise. And you will be entered into the contest if you sent me a PayPal through the link. I promise you that. So I'm going to jump off here. Y'all have a great night. Not sure if I'll do a live show tomorrow or not. Possibly, maybe, but maybe not. If not, I'll see you on Saturday. Y'all have a great week, and keep an eye out for my regular video tomorrow. Go to Blue Dude, out.